All right, this is my review of HighlightHunter, a computer program. It's fairly simple. Now, full disclosure, before I get started, these guys contacted me a few months ago and asked me if I would do a video review of it. And I said, sure, send me a copy. You know, you build something, I'll try to break it. And over the last few months, I was doing videos and trying to get it to work and sending them my log files. And now they've got it tuned up where it works really well. So it's a program that you use with your camera, specifically I think designed for people who use a GoPro or some kind of camera where you can't be turning it on and off all the time. So basically what you do is you just set your camera to record, and then you record a whole bunch of stuff, and whenever something good happens on your video, rather than, you know, stopping and starting, you just cover up the lens of your camera for a second and then uncover it. And then that's why their logo is this hand with a circle in the middle. So you do that all throughout the video. So let's say you let the video run for an hour, and every time something interesting happens, you just reach up and cover up the lens, you know, if the camera's on top of your head or attached to your motorcycle or wherever. And then when you get back home, rather than having to fish through an hour of video and try to find all of the highlights, this thing will go in there and just rip out all the highlights and put them in a folder on your computer. So let's see how it works. I did a pretty good video test here.
Alright, so the plan is the camera goes on the person's head, and every time the person sees this bird, he's going to cover the lens of the camera with his hand for a second and then uncover it. So what we should end up with is video of the bird and everything else in between cut out, including this part.
So that was the game. I put my GoPro camera on my son's head and had him run around the yard, and then every once in a while I'd jump out and show him the crazy stuffed animal bird. And after I showed him the bird, he would cover up the camera for a second. And we ran into some shadowy areas of the yard and some bright areas and tried to run in from light and dark. And I found that it did get some false positives, but overall you get all your highlights and maybe one or two false positives. At least that was the previous version. I haven't tested this new version yet, but it should be pretty good. So to crunch that clip, now you can choose whatever folder you want it to get the video from, and then whatever folder you want it to finally dump the video into when it's done. Where should we save my folder? So I'm going to say take the single video that we were just looking at of the bird and then save the highlights into the same folder where it was. Now you've got settings that you can adjust. So how much video do you want to capture before the camera lens is covered? So you can go 30 seconds all the way up to 10 minutes before the camera was covered up. So in my case, we're just looking for a stupid bird, so I'm going to do 5 seconds. And then bookmark detection. How strict should it be when looking for bookmarks? If fewer highlights are being found than expected, move the slider to the right. So I'm going to leave it on their default setting and see what we get. And then you can tell it to ignore highlights in the first 10 seconds of video. I'm going to leave that unchecked. And then you can send them usage information if you wish. I like these guys, but I don't like anybody spying on me, so I'm going to uncheck that. And let's go ahead and hit that, and then click Start Scan. So it's scanning now. Now this folder, the file was at least 10 minutes long of 720p HD video. This is a pretty fast computer. I've got a i7 quad core with a solid state hard drive, so you know, it doesn't get much faster than this. So your results may be a lot slower, but even on my old computer where I had this installed before, it was pretty quick. So it's telling me it found 36 birds. Now it's asking me if I want to view them now. I say yes. It brings up the folder. And you'll note that I put it in the same file as my original video file, so it doesn't get rid of your original folder, your original video. Your original video stays safe, and then it makes a whole bunch of clips in addition to your original video. So there's the first bird. Okay. Let's see if there's a bird on this clip. No bird. So that was one of those false positives. Let's check this one. It was a false positive also. All right, that's a bird. I see bird there. More bird there. So we're getting a lot of bird. There are cases where he goes into a dark corner. So it's not looking for complete darkness. It's looking for just a variation in light and dark. All right, so that first attempt I would call a failure in that it found a lot of highlights that weren't actually highlights. So let's crank it up to the strictest possible standards and see how well it works. Pulling 5-second clips of the bird. Start scan. So we had 36 clips last time that it found, and we're hoping for a lot less, and we're hoping for all birds this time. So let's see what it gets. It's got less than a minute left, it says. We found 5 highlights for you. Okay. That looks like a cat and a bird. Alright. This one looks like a hand. I guess I should have gotten more than 5 seconds. That was a 5-second coverage, but that was definitely one of that I intended. There's the bird. Covered up. There's a bird. Covering it up. But I know I did this more than 5 times. There's a bird hiding behind a van. Alright, so let's try it once again and tune it up once again. So I'm going to delete all of these. Out of here. Delete. Alright, let's take another shot at it with the settings. So, you know, obviously it's not perfect. Let's hit it again here. Okay, start scan. So now we're halfway in between the setting that I had in the beginning where I found too many and the setting where I didn't find enough. And 17, I think 17 is about right. All right, so let's take a look at 17 clips here. Start with the first one. So we're expecting to see, okay, that was a bird, and I definitely covered that on purpose. It was only a 5-second clip, so you didn't see much bird. This is not a bird. Okay, so far one good, one bad. This is that kid swinging again. The variations between light and dark. Somebody looking at a door. There's a bird in the house. All right. And there's a bird. So we're doing pretty well. It seemed like as long as you stay in a similarly lighted area, then you're all right. And if you go too deep into the darkness and into the light, then you're in trouble. He sees the bird from afar. Good. He sees the bird, and we take the camera away. That counts. There's a bird, okay. Sorry if this is incredibly boring. I just want to give you guys a look at what it actually is like to use it. So there I went from light to dark, and it picked that up as a transition. Yeah, and there's a bird. There's another bird. Bird. Looking from light to dark. There's a bird, kind of. That one, I think that one I was trying to trick it by aiming it directly at the sun. That was me covering the lens, so that's appropriate. There's a cat and a bird. And that's the main file. So that's pretty good. In terms of, you know, if you really do have an hour of video to work through, this thing will make it easier. Even if you get a few false positives along the way, it's a lot better than slogging through a whole hour video trying to find your actual highlights.